Hey YouTube, Lawler here as always. If you guys missed this weekend, RLCS went down and no, it was not 3v3. It is 1v1s. If you guys don't remember last time, Mawkzy and Yan competed in Birmingham to see who would go and compete at the World Championship in Lyon. And it was Mawkzy. So Mawkzy gets to represent his own country in his own place, fighting for World Championship. No pressure, buddy. Hopefully you can take it. But we got to find out who his competitor is. Who is he going to be playing up against? And before we do that, a couple things we have to talk about. Number one, what went down in MENA, what went down in North America, and who between those two teams or these two players is going to go and fight in Raleigh for a chance to then go to the World Championship and compete. We had some clear favorites, and spoiler alert, things went as planned. Things went as expected. No real craziness there. But for those that are maybe unfamiliar, let's kind of talk about how this works, how it breaks down, and what to expect. First thing we're going to talk about is MENA because it went down first. And then we're going to talk about NA after. So, you guys do not know, there was 4 open qualifiers for the 1v1 tournament that went down this weekend, but the only 2 that technically matter are MENA and North America because those 2 actually feed into the Pro RLCS system. They did not allow OCE, they did not allow SSA, they did not allow other minor regions for a chance to go and do as much. So, the only 4 that kind of got the nod were Sam and in EU last time. This time it is MENA and NA. As you guys can see, the winner up at the top. We talked about some of the favorites in a previous video as well, and things kind of went as expected. The crazy thing about all this, LAWL only lost 3 games total in his entire run, and they were in the grand final. LAWL did not drop a single game to any of his competition outside of the grand finalists in Rawas. And that's what we kind of expected. We expected LAWL and Rawas to play in the grand finals, and what a battle it was. Rawas's defense versus LAWL's offense went back and forth. Very close series. Game 7 all the way down to the wire until LAWL started to run away with it. Very, very good. He's going to be there with Twisted Minds as well, competing. The cool thing that they ended up doing, though, is after all of this played out and all of this went down and we saw all the competitors and all that kind of fun stuff, they actually held this match. They did not play the grand final until we went to North America. In North America, we had some favorites, and most of the favorites did make it through. There was an upset with Wiz, young kid, kind of a rank X, really good solo queue player who ended up playing upset and actually did a pretty good performance on the main stage. But some things of note to take away. The RLCS guys, mentality-wise, the ones that are kind of the top dogs in NA as well, in MENA, even though MENA was kind of a clear favorite, just seemed to overperform. Like, there is something to be said about the mental game that is 1v1s. You got no one else. Some of those guys actually hop in a Discord call with a buddy of theirs just to banter and talk to keep their mind off things. Saw Chronic doing it a lot as well. But when everything is on the line, there's certain expectations, and I think First Killer, who actually played pretty poorly in his qualifiers, when the lights were on, when he was playing in front of the broadcast, man turned it on, and it was a different story. So some of the underdog matches, Wavy and Evo coming in high seats on one side of the bracket. On the other side, it was Diaz and Zapatos. Zapatos had a very heartfelt, and you guys can't see that, unfortunately, but Zapatos had a really heartfelt message after he was knocked out. A little bit of a spoiler. Talking about how he made the RLCS. He played his way in his car. If you guys don't know, he's a Sentio main. Very aggressive playstyle, takes more risks, and is a little bit more assertive, even though it makes him more susceptible on defense. But cool to see him have individuality and kind of push for, hey, while we all use Fennec and Octane and so on and so forth, we can still be personality-wise individuals in the way that we approach in our style. And we did get to see that. A lot of the top-tier players did have a very unique style in the way that they played. And across the board, even AJ, the old man, the retiree from Gas, Johnny also had a pretty rough comment about how he was like passing in midfield and he's looking for his teammates who still aren't there or something like that. Kind of throwing some shade at Garrett and Squishy. Kind of funny, but again, just tongue-in-cheek. Nothing serious. But overall, the favorites were Wavy and Diaz, and admittedly, Diaz made Wavy look like a goof. He did put up a decent fight, and it was a lot better than people want to expect him to sweep. But the reality was I think Wavy just, nerves mentality-wise, would play way too passive. He just needed to be aggressive and needed to be assertive. The times that he did, he had one shot that was incredible. It was like a self-touch off of the ceiling reset, and then he went for a musty and then instead hit it with the back end of his car. It was actually nuts. Check this out. So pushes it forward, resets off the ceiling, fakes the musty, and then plays it and shoots it the other way. There are so many shots that you guys can go and take a look at. They're all on the subreddit. Highly recommend going and checking those all out. But the favorite was going to be Diaz. The only other person I think in those conversations, Chronic put up probably the best fight, ironically enough, to Diaz. And I think Chronic is criminally underrated in both 1s and 3s. Played a very good defensive game and kept it pretty competitive. I actually think Chronic almost had that. He did throw a couple series as well. But overall, it is Diaz on top. No expense. I mean, we all thought it was going to be Diaz. Diaz over the last year has really solidified himself as one of the best at once. Curiosity is if, again, being Brazilian, if he would have played in South America, if it would have been him or Yan. I actually think that would have been a very good series because I think Yan would have handled his pressure quite well. But there's something about Diaz where it's like, dude goes off of his back wall, hits a double flip reset, it's in your goal, and he still has like 10 or 20 boosts to recover. It's insane. So much to the fact that like even FK, like super consistent, and like FK, who's usually disruptive and bump heavy and stuff, just can't do anything about it. So what exactly does this mean? What is the point of what we're talking about? In Raleigh in just a couple weeks, there will be most likely on Saturday a show match, and it will have Diaz going up against Naupo, however you say his name. I always forget. So Naupo and Diaz will be fighting against each other. Diaz, although Brazilian, will be representing North America. Naupo representing MENA. They will play a single best of 7 on stage. Winner not only secures themselves some good money, but they will then go on to compete against Mawkzy and Lyon at the World Championship. I assume also on Saturday for that event. So pretty crazy stuff this weekend. The matches were pretty dang good. Diaz looked different level compared to everybody else. It looked like out of sight, out of mind. Ironically enough, when they did his interview with him, like they're like, he doesn't even smile. He's not. It's just another day at the office for the kids. So will that translate? Because a lot of people are concerned about complexity of if they're going to make it to Raleigh, or by Raleigh I mean LCQs to Lyon. Either way, Diaz has secured his spot to at least one of those. So pretty crazy stuff across the board. Going to be an exciting match in Raleigh. If you guys want to stay up to date on that stuff, or you guys don't know what's to follow, let me know in the comments down below. I don't know how many people are interested in 1v1s on this channel, but when it comes to the majors and stuff, this will be a match that is included. So stuff to keep in mind. But yeah, pretty crazy stuff. As always, if you guys enjoy the content, like, subscribe, notifications, let me know. I'll try to keep you guys updated with stuff as LCQs are kind of the major focus now. Teams splitting up, some crazy things. A lot of Europeans back in Europe. Where the heck they're going to play, who the heck knows. But I'll do my best. Subscribe so you don't miss out on it. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.